The world has barely had time to recover from the climate disasters of 2024, when nature once again dealt a devastating blow to humanity. In the first 3 weeks of January 2025, our planet faced serious challenges. In this video, you will see the most abnormal and powerful catastrophes that occurred from January 1st to 21st. USA. In January, 3 powerful winter storms hit the United States. The first storm, starting on January 3rd, covered a vast area of the country, from Kansas to New Jersey. In Kansas, snow depths reached up to 46 centimeters in some areas, while in Nebraska it was up to 40 centimeters. Thousands of drivers were trapped on snow-covered and icy roads. More than 5,700 flights were canceled or delayed across the country. In California, this storm caused an unusually early tornado for the year, and in some areas, rare snowstorms were observed. The storm left more than 350,000 homes without power, and the sharp drop in temperature posed serious risks for those left without heat. 7 people lost their lives as a result of the storm.
Not good.
600 flights canceled out of the world's busiest airport south of Atlanta.
Just a few days later, on January 9th, the second winter storm hit the southeast of the United States, bringing harsh weather conditions to nearly 25 states and affecting around 80 million people. Once again, residents faced heavy snowfall, the cancellation of thousands of flights, and numerous accidents on the roads. More than 120,000 people were left without electricity, and a state of emergency was declared in 5 states. From January 20th, a historic storm struck the United States, posing a serious challenge, especially for residents of the southern regions who are not accustomed to harsh winter weather. At least 9 people died as a result of hypothermia and traffic accidents. The Gulf Coast was hit the hardest, where snowfalls are an extraordinary rarity. On January 20th, over 20 centimeters of snow fell at Louis Armstrong Airport in New Orleans, nearly tripling the previous record. The following day, Alabama saw a new record for daily snowfall, surpassing one that had stood for 143 years. For the first time in history, the U.S. National Weather Service issued a snowstorm warning for certain areas in Louisiana and Texas. The Arctic cold caused the perceived temperature along much of the Gulf Coast to drop to minus 10 degrees Celsius, while in northern Texas it fell to minus 18 degrees Celsius. The region's infrastructure and local residents were completely unprepared for such unusual climatic conditions. Starting on January 7th, Southern California became the epicenter of a series of devastating wildfires triggered by an unusual drought and hurricane-force Santa Ana winds. This tragedy claimed at least 28 lives, and the fire spread across more than 16,000 hectares in the areas surrounding Los Angeles. Thousands of firefighters were on the front lines, battling the powerful natural disaster. Due to the rapid spread of the fire, more than 200,000 people were ordered to evacuate. Even 2 weeks later, the 2 largest fires, Eaton and Palisades, remained active. By that time, they had been contained at 89% and 63% respectively. The destruction left by the disaster was colossal. The fire destroyed more than 12,000 buildings. According to preliminary estimates, the fires in Los Angeles could become the most costly in U.S. history, with damages exceeding $250 billion. Russia. While North Africa was struggling with snowstorms, in Russia, instead of the traditional Epiphany frosts, there was an anomalous warming, and the air temperature resembled more of a March-like condition. In the Kirov region, buds began to appear on the trees. Due to the unusual warmth for winter, plants in the Kaliningrad region began to grow, insects appeared, and snowdrops were preparing to bloom. In the early days of January, the first spring flowers bloomed in the Sochi National Park. Dozens of temperature records were recorded across the country. In the city of Armavir, in the Krasnodar region, heat records were registered for 4 consecutive days. On January 9th, the air temperature reached an incredible 17.5 degrees Celsius. Italy. On January 17th, a powerful storm struck the Sicily region in Italy. Torrential rains, flooding, and hurricane-force winds caused significant damage to the Aeolian Islands, including Lipari and Vulcano. In the municipalities of Palagonia and Reposto, drivers became trapped due to flooded roads. In the province of Syracuse, a rare winter phenomenon occurred. Several tornadoes formed. One of the vortices in the city of Augusta tore roofs off buildings, uprooted trees, and littered the streets with debris. Another tornado swept through the Noto Valley, leaving significant destruction in its wake. Power line supports were knocked down, causing widespread power outages. Buildings, greenhouses, and agricultural land were also damaged. Australia. From January 15th, a series of powerful storms hit the east coast of Australia, affecting the states of New South Wales and Queensland. The storm claimed 1 life. In Sydney, winds with gusts up to 120 kilometers per hour tore off roofs, felled trees, and knocked down power lines. More than 200,000 homes were left without electricity. Lightning and damaged power lines caused local fires. Large hail, the size of a baseball, caused significant damage to cars and building facades. In the Brisbane area, a dangerous phenomenon, microbursts, was recorded, with wind speeds reaching 80 kilometers per hour. Algeria. In North Africa, in Algeria, the year 2025 began with unusually strong cold and heavy precipitation. On the morning of January 1st, residents of the Nema region woke up to find that the sand dunes were covered with snow. Due to icy rain and snowdrifts, national roads had to be closed in some areas of the country. The next powerful snowstorm hit the central and eastern regions of Algeria on January 13th, lasting for several days. Thousands of cars got stuck in the snow, and heavy rains led to flooding and landslides in several eastern regions. For this African country, such frequent and prolonged snowfalls are an extremely anomalous phenomenon. Saudi Arabia. On January 6th, heavy rains once again struck Saudi Arabia, which have become a familiar occurrence for this region. The precipitation was accompanied by hail and thunderstorms, leading to sudden floods. The streets of Mecca and Medina turned into raging torrents of water. The flooding caused significant damage. Water entered residential homes, submerged vehicles, and destroyed bridges. To rescue children trapped in the floodwaters, locals formed human chains. The most severe damage was recorded in Jeddah, where winds reached 60 kilometers per hour and wave heights exceeded 2 meters. In the city of Rabigh, a rare phenomenon occurred. A giant waterspout reached the shore, generating high waves. This event raised concerns among both locals and climatologists, as waterspouts had previously only been observed in open waters. Lithuania. At the beginning of 2025, autumn-like weather settled in Lithuania. The air temperature was 5 to 7 degrees Celsius, higher than the average, and instead of the usual snow for this time of year, heavy rains fell. In the western part of the country, more than half of the monthly rainfall norm fell in just 1 day. The stormy weather brought strong winds with gusts reaching up to 29 meters per second. Fallen trees blocked roads, downed power lines, and damaged vehicles. Thousands of residents were left without electricity. Due to the heavy rains, the water levels in rivers rose to critical levels, leading to flooding of roads and areas near homes. On January 2nd, in some regions, rain was replaced by snowfall, accompanied by rare winter thunderstorms. Seismic activity. Scientists are sounding the alarm, noting a persistent trend of exponential growth in seismic activity. In recent years, earthquakes with a magnitude of 5 have become almost a daily occurrence, perceived as routine. However, in the last 6 months, the frequency of earthquakes with a magnitude of 6 and above has significantly increased. At the beginning of 2025, this trend has only intensified. In the first 3 weeks of the year, 7 such powerful events have already been recorded. The first such earthquake, with a magnitude of M6.1, occurred on January 1st in the South Sandwich Islands region. The following day, in Chile, at the border of the Tarapacá and Antofagasta regions, a seismic event of the same magnitude was recorded. On January 5th, El Salvador was shaken by an earthquake with a magnitude of 6.3.
Santificado sea tu nombre. Venga a nosotros tu reino. Hágase tu voluntad en la tierra como en el cielo. Danos hoy nuestro pan de cada día.
Uy, este terremoto. Voy.
On January 12th, a seismic tremor of M6.1 was recorded in the Mexican state of Michoacán. By 7 p.m. that same day, 485 aftershocks had been registered, with the strongest of them reaching a magnitude of 4.5. An earthquake with a magnitude of 6.9 occurred in the Huguenota Sea off the coast of the Japanese island of Kyushu on January 13th. The magnitude was later revised down to 6.6. A strong and shallow earthquake with a magnitude of 6.4 was recorded on the southern part of Taiwan on January 21st. It was felt even in the capital, Taipei. Due to this seismic event, infrastructure was damaged and landslides occurred. At least 44 people were injured. But the most destructive of the series of powerful earthquakes was the seismic event with a magnitude of 6.8, which struck the Tibet Autonomous Region of China on January 7th. Its epicenter was located in the high-altitude area of Dingri County. After the main tremor, more than 600 aftershocks, with magnitudes up to 4.4, were recorded. The disaster caused severe destruction. Dozens of villages were wiped out, and more than 3,600 homes were destroyed. The village of Guizhou was hit especially hard, where all the houses collapsed. Rescue teams, equipped with dogs and specialized tools, tirelessly searched for survivors under the rubble. However, with each passing hour, the chances of survival dwindled as temperatures at night dropped below -10 degrees Celsius. The tragedy claimed the lives of 126 people, and another 188 were injured. Thousands of people were left homeless in harsh winter conditions. This earthquake became one of the most powerful in the region in recent decades. At the beginning of the year, there was also a noticeable increase in volcanic activity around the world. What this could mean and what consequences to expect will be covered in our upcoming videos. The observed dynamics of climate catastrophes fully align with the mathematical model developed by an international team of scientists several years ago. Moreover, their latest predictions for 2025 leave no room for optimism. According to the presented data, this year the intensity of natural disasters is expected to increase by 12 to 15% compared to the already record-breaking year of 2024. If humanity takes no action, the trend of intensifying these events will only continue to gain momentum. Unfortunately, the warnings from scientists about the rise in the number and abnormality of climate catastrophes and the need to prepare for them have been largely ignored by the global community and those responsible for making such decisions. As a result, a vast number of people have already suffered from these disasters. A timely response to these warnings could have prevented the tragedy caused by humanity's unwillingness to face the truth. Today, new forecasts have been announced, pointing out specific climate threats both for individual countries and for the planet as a whole. Proposals and solutions have also been put forward on how to counter these challenges. But will humanity listen this time? The question remains open.